Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Faster Way podcast. I am so thrilled to be here with America's holistic plastic surgeon. This is going to be a very, very fun conversation. Dr. Anthony, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I really appreciate you.
So we got to know each other through JJ Virgin. JJ is such a
hmm
friend of the Faster Way, and anyone who she refers to me to be a friend, I say absolutely yes, immediately yes. How quickly can
Oh,
we get on a call? So I'm just thrilled for that connection. Where I always love to start with podcast guests is when and why you entered into the wellness space, into your particular field, which is plastic surgery. Can you just share a little bit about your story?
yeah. So basically, the day I was born, my dad told me I was going to be a doctor. And as the dutiful son of Korean American immigrants, I'm like, okay, that's what I'm supposed to do. And I thought I was going to be maybe a surgeon because I loved working with my hands. My dad was like, you're going to be a neurosurgeon or a cardiac surgeon or a vascular surgeon or transplant, like these high powered surgical specialties. And I quickly figured out that that's just not my personality. And because I'm kind of artistic and stuff, I ended up going into the field of plastic surgery and really, really enjoyed it. But what happens, really in surgery is there is this saying, to cut is to cure, or the only way to heal is with cold steel. And I was always taught that what you want to do is bring people to the operating room. That's the goal. You want to ideally bring them in and you want to do the biggest, most difficult operations that you can. And in plastic surgery, that operation is probably the facelift. So for many years early in my practice, I went through traditional training and I got an MD, I went through general and plastic surgery training and stuff. As my practice was doing really well, I actually gauged the success of my practice on how many facelifts I was doing. And I got to a point where I had a year and a half waiting list. I had patients flying in from all across the country to see me to do these operations. And then I had a horrible complication on a patient, one that absolutely devastated me. And it wasn't anything that I could have prevented. It wasn't anything that she could have prevented or that she did wrong. It just happened. And that really is what set me on a completely different course in my career. Because I was so devastated by what happened with this patient that for a while I thought, am I doing the right thing? Was I taught the right things in my training? Am I actually helping people or am I hurting them? And I finally came to a realization when I hit rock bottom and I thought about just leaving medicine altogether. And I came to a realization that what I was taught, the goal of plastic surgery was wrong. And I was always taught the goal was to bring people to the operating room. And I realized that the goal should be the opposite of that. It should be, how do I keep people out of the operating room, yet help them to look and feel their best so that they don't feel the need to go under the knife. And that's what started me on the career into studying natural medicine, alternative medicine, and really learning from people things like nutrition, skincare, supplements, stuff that I never really was taught in my training before.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that pain that led into your now purpose. But are you willing to be a little bit more detailed on that pivotal moment? Because I'm just,
Yeah.
somewhat curious what happened.
So this isn't something that I share all the time, but basically I had the woman. She was in her 60s, and we had her completely study. She saw a cardiologist prior to surgery. I performed her operation on a Thursday, which was a facelift. Surgery went perfectly. I saw her Friday in the hospital. At that time we kept our patients overnight in the hospital, and everything looked great. And I sent her home. And then I had a weekend. We were hanging out with my kids and stuff. And then I come back to the office Monday morning, and I had a message from her daughter. And the message was, "Why did my mom die?" That was the message. And over the weekend, she had a massive heart attack and she died. And
Mm,
like anything, I mean, it absolutely devastated me. Now, once
yeah.
again, I went through everything. Did she have a medication reaction? No. Was there anything I could have done, or did I do anything that caused this other than just bringing her to surgery? The answer is no.
Right.
And so, but still, the guilt of that, even today, just hangs with me. But the knowledge that there is a better way, I think, to look at this, and can I bring something good out of something that was a pure tragedy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, it really sent me for a tailspin. For months, I considered like quitting medicine altogether. And I finally, I think, after I came out of that deep, dark hole that I put myself in, came to a realization that I need to help people in a different way.
Mm,
And the stuff that I was taught as just being a surgeon was wrong. There is this tendency for surgeons, and especially plastic surgeons, to jump to surgery because so much of plastic surgery, it's money driven.
yeah.
And really that was something that I realized that, oh my gosh, like all this stuff that I was taught and the direction I should go in my practice was completely wrong. And unfortunately, me spreading this word, and giving people information about holistic plastic surgery has not necessarily come off well with some of my peers.
Oh, I imagine. Well, first, thank you for sharing that with us. And I think the fact that you were so devastated and even, considered completely changing your career trajectory as a result of it, it speaks to your passion to do the right thing and your integrity as a person. And the thing is, like, even in my industry, even in my career, someone can come in and be healthy and seemingly doing all the right things with the workouts, but yet be at the grocery store and have a stroke or
Yeah.
have a heart attack sitting on the couch watching TV. So it's very tragic. It's very, very sad. But you took that situation and you created a better solution and outcome for patients now. And you're sharing the message about holistic plastic surgery. So share with me just a little bit about that journey. What is, like, be more specific. What is holistic plastic surgery? What would you say to me differently now if I come in and say I want to work with you? Dr. Anthony, I want my face to look better. I want my skin to be tighter. What, instead of, pulling out the scalpel like you used to, what would you do with me instead?
So the first thing we always have to keep in mind is that I always consider now plastic surgery as an absolute last resort. And there are situations where only surgery will give you what you're looking for. So for
Yeah.
example, you've had many children
Yes.
and you look fantastic. There are some women who've even just had two kids and the skin on their tummy is drooping and hanging and it really gets in the way for them. They can get chafing underneath, they get infections and fungal infections. And so for them, I could say, hey, change your diet, let's put you on some skincare. That's not going to make that skin go away.
Yeah.
Conversely, you may have people who are in their 60s or 70s and the skin on their neck is just hanging there, and there's no cream you can put on there or injection that's going to make that skin go away. So, in general, when you look, the patients that I look at for actual surgery, and I still do surgery 2 days every week, there are conditions where really nothing non-invasive will help. However, when you do look at all the other types of cosmetic issues that we may have, if you look at 5 different things, and that's the whole idea of autojuvenation, and that's the basis of the book, by looking at these 5 different things, if you focus on these 5 things, you can really, I would say about 80 to 90% of people can forego plastic surgery and hopefully get the result they're looking for, especially with aging of the face, by focusing on 5 things instead. And those 5 things are what to eat, when to eat, supplements, skincare products, and optional are non-invasive or minimally invasive treatments. Surgery is not one of those 5 things.
Okay, I cannot wait to dive into this. This is perfect timing. As you mentioned, I have many, many children. I am not going to be having any more kids. I had my fifth and final baby last
Yes.
year, and I'm like, man, I'm kind of in that phase now where I need to start paying attention to how I look, not for only vanity reasons, but just because I want to feel good and be confident. And I just want to address this with everyone listening. Like, it's okay to want to feel your best. It is
Mm-hmm.
not bad. We have many people listening who are very faith based, and I have a strong faith background as well. It is
Mm-hmm.
okay to say, I want to look my best. It's not necessarily chasing looking younger, just saying, I am going to age gracefully. I'm going to be confident. So I just wanted to share that little disclaimer because, there's going to be a negative Nelly out there that says, you should just let the wrinkles come because that's how God made you. It's okay to say we're going to do a little bit of, maybe not surgery necessarily, as well, but some other procedures and things to look better. So let's dive into those 5 things. Eating the right foods and then at the right times. Can you share your methodology or your perspective on that?
Yeah, so as far as eating the right foods, there are a lot of foods that will prematurely age our skin. And when I look at what ages the skin and what ages us in general, I focus on 4 main things. The first thing is collagen degradation. as we get older, 70 to 80% of our skin is made of collagen. And collagen is a part of our skin that causes our skin to feel tight. It gives a firmness of the skin. It makes it feel youthful. But we lose about 1% of the thickness of our collagen every year, starting about in our mid-20s.
Mm.
Women, once they go through menopause, lose upwards of 2% of the thickness of their collagen every year. And that's why you may see women who are in their 70s and their 80s, and their skin can be tissue paper thin, so thin that they just rub against something and they can get actual tears in it.
Oof.
So one big thing with the collagen degradation is we want to eat foods that will help to replenish the collagen in our skin. So collagen is a protein, it's a large protein, and so eating healthy protein-rich foods, especially as you get older, is super, super important. And I know that's something that you've talked about on your podcast before.
Yes.
So that's the first cause of aging of the skin. Second thing, chronic inflammation. Now, inflammation can be acute or it can be chronic. Acute inflammation can be a good thing. You get a cut in your skin, your body reacts by creating some acute inflammation to heal it. That can be a good thing. Laser treatments, chemical peels, acute inflammation, make your skin younger afterwards. It's chronic inflammation that is a big issue. And what's the main culprit of chronic inflammation of our skin? It's sugar. Sugar is a huge culprit. If I would guess one type of food that is the worst thing for your skin, it would be sugar-based foods. And there was one study that found that 20% of the calories in the standard American diet comes from sugar-sweetened drinks. Soda pop, power drinks, fruit juices, 20%. And so reducing the amount of sugar, that way you can reduce inflammation and you can reduce glycation, which is another big part of the sugar problem. Super important.
I just have to say, recently, my VIP client community did a sugar detox. So
Yep.
we, right before Halloween, decided to do a sugar detox. We wanted to prevent sugar cravings and really feel in control before Halloween and the holidays started. And 4 days
Yep.
in, 5 days into the sugar detox, I got on Instagram and I said, "You guys, my skin is looking amazing. It must be from this facial that I had done a couple weeks ago." And I'm literally, like, tagging my facial guy, and I'm like, "Oh, it's gotta be that." And 2 days later, it occurs to me, maybe it's the fact that I eliminated sugar. My face had never looked better. It was glowing. It was just amazing, and I'm literally like, "Must be that facial I did." And 2 days, I'm like, "Maybe it was the sugar detox." I mean, I think that's a big aspect of it.
Yeah, and I believe that ideally it's an inside-outside approach is going to get you the best, healthiest skin, the skin that you're going to be happiest with. And so probably it's a combination of both. It's the fact that you reduce the amount of sugar, so you reduce the amount of chronic inflammation, you reduce the amount of glycation going on, where the sugar will actually bond to the collagen of your skin. That combined with the outside, it's a truly integrative approach to making your skin look better. So
Yeah.
I would say it's a combination of both.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Third cause of aging of the skin that I like to focus on is oxidation or free radicals. So free radicals basically are these damaging molecules that we actually create as a process of normal metabolism. So just the act of being alive, your body will create free radicals, but your body also will create antioxidants. Antioxidants are the body's defense against free radicals, and they neutralize them. Now, if you're somebody who's living a perfect diet and perfect life like Amanda, you
Not
probably
quite perfect,
have
pretty darn
you're
good.
you're probably in a good situation where your free radicals and your antioxidants are kind of evening out and you're not, getting too many free radicals. But if you get in a situation where you get an overload of free radicals from bad diet, really ultra processed foods and deep fried foods are huge sources of free radicals, from, let's say, smoking, from pollution, from excess even sun, then you can get to a point where there's so many free radicals attacking your body that you get something called oxidative stress, a state of oxidative stress, and that is prematurely aging. And then the fourth cause that I focus on, and this is a big part of fasting, is a buildup of cellular waste. And our cells themselves will create cellular waste as we are in our normal metabolism. These are waste products, these are proteins and organelles, and even used in old mitochondria that will build up in our cells unless we periodically go through a process called autophagy, where our body will recycle those proteins and allow the body to essentially clean itself from the inside out. And this is where you have been really good, I think, with helping, hundreds of thousands of people with their processes of autophagy. Now, a lot of people look
Yes.
at autophagy as, oh, it's healthy for my body and I can lose weight and stuff like that. but it actually will help with your skin as well. And that's a big part of my book, Younger for Life, is getting people started on that autophagy by some intermittent fasting.
Ooh, okay, you are speaking our language. That is right up our alley. Our listeners know all about autophagy, and I love that you mentioned the cell. Clean the cell and you'll be well. Clean the cell and your skin
Yep.
is going to look great as well. So that's fantastic. Do you personally do intermittent fasting? Do you do a 16-8 protocol or anything similar?
Yeah, that's what I typically do is a 16-8.
Great.
And in my
Perfect.
book, we've got a 21-day jumpstart where that's what we encourage people to start with is, and really, I think for people, a lot of my followers, they are kind of middle America. A lot of them
Yeah.
maybe have never even thought about fasting. And so even just to get them on started, I encourage them at least start a 12-hour fast. And if you can bring that up to 16 hours, that's ideal. I do
Yes.
think that that's the ideal fast because it's usually, once you start doing it, I feel like it's fairly easy, but definitely it's effective.
Okay, we are besties now. So, Younger for Life. Everybody needs to run and get this book. I know I for sure am going to because I want to be younger for life. So, share the final step with us, that fifth impact on our skin.
So the final thing that we look at is a nutrient depletion. And so nutrient depletion is something that we are learning. If you talk to holistic experts, they'll say, our industrial farming practices have depleted our soil of nutrients and our food is not as nutritious as it used to be. And that's one reason why, if you can afford it, to try to eat organic if you can. If not, then once again, conventional produce, get that instead. Rather have you eat a conventionally grown apple than an organic, processed bar. But that being said, there was actually a study that looked at our produce from the years of 1950 to 1999, and it looked at their nutritional content and found a statistically significant reduction in 6 main nutrients, 3 of them being ones that really shocked me: vitamin C, iron, and protein. And so, this belief that a lot of our alternative medicine friends have that our food is less nutritious than it used to be was actually proven by this study. And this study ended in 1999. Fast forward today, we're in 2023, 2024. How is it like today? I would assume that it's even worse. And so, definitely, trying to eat a balanced, healthy, whole foods diet is the way to go. I encourage people to try to eat the rainbow of fruits and vegetables because you're going to get a variety of antioxidants that way to fight off the free radicals, to slow down the aging of your skin.
Yeah. Now, when you talk about collagen, so we'll go all the way back to the
Yeah.
collagen discussion. You mentioned that we need to consume foods that will help with the collagen production. Are we talking about meat? Are you sharing kind of high protein meats in particular there? And also, what's your thought on collagen supplementation?
Yeah, so definitely if you're a meat eater, and I mean, I admire vegans, for it's a moral choice that they make. And I have a lot of my friends that are plant-based, and I think that's great for them. I also believe that not everybody can thrive on a plant-based diet. Myself, I went plant-based for a while, and I just didn't feel great on it. And so I don't eat a ton of meat, but I do eat enough I feel that really helps support me. I also think that as people get older, and I think a lot of women as they get older, protein becomes or has always been less of a emphasis, and we're learning more and more that it needs to be emphasized much, much more. And great sources of healthy protein: grass-fed beef, pastured pork, pastured chicken, wild-caught fish, ideally cold water fish like salmon, tuna, and trout. Those are going to be great, great healthy sources of meat. Now, as far as the collagen supplements, this is a really interesting thing because if you were to go on social media in, let's say, traditional medical circles, I bet you if you were to go to Twitter, med Twitter, and say, oh, what do you guys think about collagen supplements? The traditional physicians do not like collagen supplements. They don't like supplements at all, first of
Yeah.
all. So
Hmm.
what does the science show? So I have talked about collagen supplements on social media many times, and patients always, or people will always say that, I talked to my family doctor about this, and he or she said that collagen supplements don't work, that they get broken down in your stomach and don't bother with them. There actually is a weight loss surgeon on TikTok and on Instagram. He's an older guy. He's probably in his 60s. He also has a nutrition degree, and he's got a big bushy beard, and he speaks, very matter of factly, like what he says. This is law essentially about what he says about nutrition. And he made a post a couple years ago about collagen supplements and saying, just another supplement that you should avoid. It's not worth it. If you really wanted to get collagen, just buy gelatin. It's the same thing. And I tell you, Amanda, a few weeks ago, I saw another video of his where he plays that video, and then about halfway into it, he swipes it away from the screen and he goes, I don't say this very often, but I was wrong.
Ooh!
He said, I looked into the research and I was wrong. Collagen supplements do work and they can help you. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy, traditional physician, he admitted that collagen supplements work. So what does the science say? There was a study in 2021, a meta-analysis of over 1,100 people. They took hydrolyzed collagen supplements for 90 days and found a statistically significant improvement in wrinkles, hydration, and the tone of their skin. Statistically significant improvement. There have been randomized clinical controlled trials, the gold standard of how you do studies in medicine, where they've put people on a collagen supplement for a couple of months, and then they've actually biopsied their skin afterwards and found an increase in the amount of collagen in their skin and a thickness of the collagen of their skin. I mean, there are so many studies out there that support it that really the only reason why doctors now are saying that it doesn't work is because they haven't looked at the science, and they're probably just anti any supplement at all because that's kind of what they've been taught. But do they really know? Not necessarily.
Oh my gosh, we did not compare notes ahead of time. So I am literally drinking our Faster Way collagen as we speak. It
There you
is
go.
so yummy, and I have absolutely noticed improvement, but it's nice to have science to also support the effectiveness of the collagen supplements. We just completed a clinical trial for Faster Way and had outstanding results with our 6-week programming, but I am definitely going to pursue some clinical trials with our products in particular. We have a grass-fed Hydra beef protein. We have grass fed collagen as well. So thank you for that perspective. And I appreciate you sharing about the doctor, and good on him for saying, hey, I was wrong. I'm going to correct this. It takes a lot for those of us, who are public online to say, hey, we messed something up or we said something wrong. Okay, so let's dive into the really juicy stuff. So we've talked about eating healthy and collagen supplementation and things that we can do to really help with our skin's appearance. But I want to talk about some treatments. I want to hear your
Sure.
favorite treatments. And then we're going to talk about how we can work with you, Dr. Tony, because I'm sure there's plenty of ladies listening who will fly up to Detroit and they want to work with you on Tuesday and Thursday when you're in the surgery center.
Well, my goal first is to help people not need me.
I
And
know, I
so
know, I know, I
I'm all
know.
good. But yeah, so I mean, I think when you're looking at treatments, there are so many people who are you're looking for bang for your buck. Now if you're a Kardashian or you're a Jenner, then you can spend thousands of dollars on some treatment and you have all the time in the world to do that. But the vast majority of us are like you. You've got 5 kids at home, you're running around, you're trying to take care of them, you're doing your work on the side as well. So what can you do if you don't have access or the time to see, let's say, a med spa or a dermatologist or a plastic surgeon? First thing that I would look at would be red light therapy.
Yeah.
Red light therapy is very interesting because it is super hot in the holistic space, but if you talk to dermatologists or plastic surgeons, you'll get a blank stare from them because it's really not big traditionally. So let me just explain how we believe that it works. Red light therapy comes in many forms. You can get those handheld devices where you can treat, let's say, a quarter of your face at a time. I'm not a big fan of those because they seem kind of onerous because you got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
There are standalone red light therapy devices that you can put on a table, which I think are great. There are red light treatments that look like creepy Hannibal Lecter masks that light up and make you look real weird that you walk around with. And there are whole beds that some people get into. The idea behind red light therapy is that the energy of the red light will essentially be absorbed by the mitochondria in your cells. And then it will help power those mitochondria to produce more ATP to cause your cells to become more energized and at the same time, basically more youthful. I don't know that it's been proven that that's how it works, but that's the belief. So what does the science say? Is there any science to support that using red light therapy can actually benefit your skin? The answer is yes. There are many studies that have looked at red light therapy and found very beneficial effects on the skin. For example, there was one study that looked at people taking red light therapy or using red light therapy for 90 days, and 90% of them had a significant improvement in the texture of their tone and 80% in the the texture of their skin and 80% in the tone of their skin. There have been actual studies where you do a split face treatment, where you take half the face, you treat it with red light, and the other half you do not. And they found a statistically significant improvement in wrinkles, hydration, and skin tone with that as well. So red light therapy definitely works. It's affordable. You can easily do it in the comfort of your own home. If you're looking for bang for your buck, non-invasive, natural treatments, that's probably the place I would start.
Okay, I'm adding this to my Christmas list. So, what machine do you recommend? You said there's like a light that you put on the tip. Is there a favorite that you have? Do you have an affiliate link that I can use? Hook me up,
so
Dr.
I
Tony. Hook me
am
up.
I am an affiliate for the Loom box, and this is actually created by a holistic physician as well. At my online store, younbeauty.com, we do have affiliate links there, but the Loom box, Lumebox. That's what I recommend. That is a tabletop device. Once again, some people like the creepy face mask devices. If you want to wear it and watch TV, then that's an option. With the Loom box, it sits on a table, and you basically put it on your skin for a while.
Okay, got it. So I have an infrared sauna and there is
Mm-hmm.
red light above me, but I don't think it probably does as much as maybe the Loom box would do because it's just simply kind of that red light above me. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it
Yeah.
is super helpful. I'm not sure.
It probably is helpful, and so I'm definitely a fan of infrared saunas, and if you add that red light, I do think you'll probably get a nice benefit from it. I don't
Yeah.
know of any studies that have shown a negative, like I don't know that you can overdo it. So it's
Mm.
one of those where you say, hey, look, I really want to focus on, let's say, the aging of the skin on my face, and you want to add that in. I can't imagine that that would be harmful.
Okay, what is your favorite facial? Do you have a favorite facial that you say, this is like, if you again want the most bang for your buck, go in, get the microneedling or get this or that. Is there anything that you would recommend there?
So there are two that I would recommend for non-invasive treatments if somebody else is going to do it for you. I think microneedling is great. Microneedling, essentially what you're doing is you're creating tiny little pokes in the skin. Those tiny little pokes create acute injury to the collagen of your skin. The way I look at it is collagen are like the logs of a log cabin. And when you're younger, those logs are nice and tight. But as you get older, those logs start to fray, they start to fall apart. If you do a controlled injury to that collagen, and that collagen then heals, it heals in a tighter fashion. So all of the treatments that we do to try to tighten up the skin non-invasively are essentially creating a controlled injury. Whether a laser does it with heat, a chemical peel does it using an acid, or microneedling does it by making a little poke in it with a tiny needle. Now, the reason why microneedling is great is because, if I were to do a laser treatment on you, for me to buy an actual laser is anywhere from about $150,000 to $200,000.
What?
IPL, which would be the next one I want to mention to you, IPL costs me maybe about $80,000 to $100,000 to buy an IPL device. A microneedling handpiece costs me about $4,000. And when you consider all the treatments that you get done, these types of treatments, the cost of the actual device is going to be passed off on to you. And so when you're looking at bang for your buck, microneedling just might be the best bang for your buck in cosmetic medicine because it's not that expensive for me to actually perform that on you. And
Got
you can get a
it.
really nice improvement by getting tighter skin. The second one that I recommend is IPL. IPL basically is a light-based treatment, no downtime to it, that's great to zap away dark spots. So if you've got sunspots or age spots that you've had from excess sun exposure in the past, and it can zap those away, sometimes those spots will turn dark and fall off within a week.
Yeah.
And I think good bang for your buck with IPL as well. And it's completely natural because it's just light. So no
Yes.
chemicals, nothing like that, just light.
Okay, I've totally done the laser IPL before, and that did help. I've had major sunspots, especially after pregnancy. I tend to have, a
Yeah.
lot of sunspots. I'm a little nervous to ask this, but what is your opinion on Botox and what is your opinion on filler?
So Botox is the number one cosmetic treatment probably in the history of the world. You and I have a lot of common friends that get a lot of Botox, and I've done a lot of interviews with holistic practitioners and wellness professionals who are toxed up, okay?
Yeah.
So it's a controversial thing. So Botox, botulinum toxin, is probably one of the most powerful toxins in the universe that we know of. And if I inject a small amount of Botox into you, it can kill you. But if you inject the most minuscule amount of Botox into a muscle that creates wrinkles, it can disrupt the nerve endings basically going to that muscle, prevent the muscle from actually activating, and you can smooth lines. And these are called dynamic wrinkles. They are wrinkles caused by muscles. So typically there are three main areas that we inject Botox for wrinkles. That's the frown lines between the eyebrows, the crow's feet, and the forehead. If you inject Botox in those areas, it will cause those muscles to no longer flex as much. They will weaken those muscles and cause those wrinkles to essentially smooth out. It lasts about 3 to 4 months. Now, I have injected in my practice, not personally, but with my team, probably about 20,000 people over the last 19 years or so. And the worst thing that we've ever seen of these 20,000 people is an eyelid droop in maybe 2 of them temporarily. It lasted a couple months.
Yeah.
That being said, if you were to go down the rabbit hole and look for systemic or inside potential reactions to Botox, there are some Facebook groups of people who believe that they have had long-term health consequences of Botox. I cannot imagine how that happens. I've not seen that be a true thing, more like a breast implant illness that I think is definitely real. But it's always possible because I think there's bio-individuality, and our bodies don't always react the same way.
Yeah.
But in general, I think Botox is safe if it's done in a controlled setting with a real professional injector. Filler, different story. Filler, I think, is very good.
Oh, no. Okay.
The difference with filler, okay, so filler, the way I describe it, is like liquid skin. Okay, the first filler was collagen. Collagen was used back in the 90s, but only lasts about 3 or 4 months. The new fillers are hyaluronic acid fillers. They're a naturally occurring substance in our skin. It's a moisturizer of our skin. And the great thing about hyaluronic acid fillers is that you can make them real thin. So if you want to inject it into an area of the body that's real thin, let's say under the eyes or maybe the lips, or they get real thick, in which case if you want to create cheekbones and stuff like that, you can do that. The good thing about an HA filler is that you can dissolve it immediately using an enzyme called hyaluronidase. So if you don't like it, we can dissolve it away, or if you get a complication. And that is super, super important, because the worst thing that can happen to you if you have Botox is you get like a droopy eyelid or something like that. The worst thing that can happen to you if you get injectable filler is that you can get intravascular occlusion, where if you accidentally inject it into an artery leading to a part of your face, that artery can get clogged up. You don't get enough blood supply to that part of the face, and that part of the face can turn black, and it can die, and you can lose it. So there are people who've had bad injections of filler. They've lost parts of their nose, parts of their lip, and people have even gone blind from bad injections of filler. So you got to be more careful, definitely, with the filler.
You have to be careful, but you, from like a toxicity standpoint, don't feel that it's too big of a deal since it's a natural substance.
Yeah, I think I'm not too concerned with toxicity of filler because it's a hyaluronic acid, and that is a natural substance technically.
Yeah.
Botox as well, really. Botox, if you look at a vial of Botox, it's just this wisp of powder, and we mix it with saline. So the amount of actual product there is so minuscule that I'm not worried, let's say, about toxicity like you would be, if you're talking about, plastics and things like that, because the dose itself is so incredibly tiny.
Okay, you heard it here on the Faster Way podcast. Dr. Anthony signed off on Botox and filler.
Just do it carefully.
Just do it carefully.
Just do it carefully.
I am 37. I've had 5 kids. I'm in my mommy makeover era. And I just got my first filler a couple of weeks ago. And the main reason is because I have this dental issue where I can only chew on one side of my face. And it's been that way forever, since I was like 4. And so my muscle, and I'm literally forgetting which side I got the filler on because I look so good now. I think it was this side I got the filler on. So my muscle on my jaw was like atrophied, and it's been, 37 years. So my guy put some filler on my jawline, and it totally transformed my face. I couldn't believe it. No one listening would have noticed it. Nobody really noticed it. It was just more so me, but I might even get a little bit more, but I was like, man, is this toxic? Should I not be doing this? I'm like using the beauty counter, products and filler as like, beauty counter and Botox. Is that like an oxymoron?
I think that, we all are willing to do certain things to help us to feel good. For some people, it's as simple as, I buy a new shirt, I put that new shirt on, and it makes me feel good about myself because there's this new shirt that I'm wearing, and I feel like I look good at that. Nobody would judge somebody for that. You get your makeup done and you feel like you look great. Nobody would judge you for that. And really, when you're considering some minor treatments like filler or like microneedling and things like that, and your skin looks better and you feel healthier, there actually was a study that looked at identical twins, and this was a study in a Danish study, looked at over 1,000 identical twins, and they found that the identical twin that looked younger lived longer. Now,
Funny.
is that a correlation? Is it causation? I don't know, but there definitely is a therapeutic part of it, of feeling good about yourself. And obviously, taking that to a certain extent, I'm not a fan of overdone plastic surgery or anything like that. But once again, starting at the basics, what to eat, when to eat, supplements, and skincare products. And you know what? You want to add some red light therapy, you want to add a touch of Botox. You know what? Whatever you feel you need to do to get yourself to that point that you feel great about yourself, because there's so many people out there who feel like, geez, I don't have the money. If I just had the money, maybe I would feel good about myself. No, you don't need money. Just take care of yourself and make these very simple changes that I can give you, especially with skincare, that can make huge differences in your skin.
Yes. Okay. Let's very quickly, as we're wrapping up, talk about skincare. I want to hear about your skincare line. I want to get my hands on your skincare line. So tell us about it.
So a very simple thing that I recommend, if you're like, I don't know what to do with my skincare, and I did hear your episode where you talked about your skincare routine, and I tell you, we got to get you on some good products and get
I
going here with this.
know. I
So,
know. I wonder when that was because it might be like a few routines ago. I switch
oh,
routines
good.
like I switch my shoes. I just never. well,
So
well,
the
I'll
simplest
buy
skincare
your stuff.
routine. No, we'll send you some. But the simplest skincare routine that anybody can do, I call it the 2 minutes, 5 years younger skincare routine. And really, what we did is we put people on this and we tested them 2 months later, and we found they looked upwards of 5 years younger just by changing this skincare routine. So, very simple. In the morning, you want to cleanse your skin with a cleanser appropriate for your skin type. If you've got oily skin, then you want to go with a foaming type cleanser. If you've got drier or more sensitive skin, then look for a hydrating cleanser or a gentle type cleanser. Secondly, you want to apply an antioxidant serum. We talked about antioxidants and free radicals. You want to get antioxidants through your diet, but you also want to apply it to the surface of your skin. So vitamin C is the most common one out there. Most skincare companies have a vitamin C serum. Ideally, if you want to biohack a little bit, then add vitamin E serum to that, because there was a study that showed that combining vitamin C and vitamin E in serum form caused them to have a synergistic antioxidant effect. Okay, so vitamin C and vitamin E synergistic together. And then I recommend, if you're going to be out in the sun, consider applying a sunscreen, at least SPF 30. I've seen so many people who've had skin cancers of their face that can be devastating. You live in a warm state, you know what it's like. We got to prevent skin cancer. Okay,
Right.
that being said, if you want to go out in the morning, get the sun on your face and all that stuff therapeutic, I hear it, do that. So that's all you have to do in the morning. Cleanse, an antioxidant serum, and then sunscreen if you're going to be out. At night, same thing, you got to cleanse your skin. If you only cleanse your skin once a day, you want to make sure you do it at night, because you got to get rid of the day's worth of grime and dirt and buildup and oil and all of that. Second step is you want to apply an anti-aging cream. Now, the most common one and the one that's most scientifically proven are retinoids. Prescription strength retinoids are Retin A, non prescription strength is retinol. And I know you've been good, at least off and on, with using yours, so that's great.
Yeah.
This is the most scientifically proven anti aging cream that there is. And even some prescription strength have been shown to reverse early pre skin cancers. In addition to thickening the skin, smoothing the skin, exfoliating the skin, and reducing unwanted pigmentation. And then if you want to apply a moisturizer on top of that, you can do that, but that's completely optional. So once again at night, cleanse, retinoid, and then moisturizer as needed. And then once or twice a week, I recommend exfoliating your skin. That way you get rid of that upper layer of dead skin cells, and that causes your skin to turn over more quickly. And that's it. If that's all you
Easy.
do, you're going to be ahead of most people. If you want to add little things to that, feel free, but that's the basic skincare regimen that everybody should do. And that's all you have to do, technically.
Oh my gosh, I love that. It sounds so easy and so tangible where sometimes when I go into the salon or the spa, they're showing 27 different products or 17 different steps. So that is great. So
Yeah.
Dr. Tony, where can we find out more about your skincare and where can we find your book?
So my skincare line is called Youn Beauty, and we've got a store at younbeauty.com. It's made with natural and organic ingredients. There's no fragrances, and it's phthalate-free, formaldehyde-free, all that stuff, cruelty-free as well. My book is Younger for Life, and we have a website called autojuvenation.com. It's for sale wherever books are sold. If you go to autojuvenation.com, we have links where you can buy that, and ideally we encourage people to support independent bookstores. If you order the book, we do have a lot of free gifts for you, a companion recipe book. If you pre-order the book before it goes on sale, we will give you a quick start guide to skincare so you can get started right away. And we give you a $30 gift certificate to our online store. So if you want to try skincare products there, then we'll get you started with $30 in your account. If you buy 3 books, we will give you $100 to get started with. So you buy 1 book for yourself, 2 for friends or relatives, and you can start with a $100 credit in your store as a thank you.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Sign me up. I'm going to get 3 books. We'll put all of those links in the show notes. And where can we find you on social media?
Just look for Dr. Youn. You'll see me I'm everywhere.
Okay,
All over the
perfect.
place. Thank
This
you.
has been so fun. It is fun for us just to talk about skincare and beauty routines and know that we are doing the right things to be young forever or to continue to age gracefully. So thank you so much. We really
Thank you,
appreciate the
Amanda.
time that you took to be with us today.
Thank you for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Bye everyone.